Journavism. CNN's Dr. Sanjay Gupta goes on Joe Rogan to discuss vaccines. Joe calls him out for CNN's dishonest coverage when Joe had COVID.
I love Joe so much. Joe is the master, truly the master. And this was a reasonable conversation if you listen to the whole thing. The clips that were going around made it look more contentious than it was. I actually give Gupta a lot of credit for even going on. And I'm shocked CNN Legal allowed him to, frankly, but they're probably actually petrified of getting sued by Rogan. Joe is just the master of giving someone enough rope and letting them hang themselves with it. Because he'll just if you're a talking points guy, which Gupta is, and you're on CNN and you're just talking points for years, surrounded by echo chambers and people who are clapping and just approving of everything that you say and never pushing back, and the only people who you assume are pushing back are bad faith people from the other side or other networks, you don't have to really defend your ideas or have a conversation about them. And people who are used to that kind of format fall apart on Rogan. You cannot talk for 3 hours and not have to fully think out your positions. It will become very clear quickly, and people generally who are talking points do. And it's because he just asks very logical, rational questions that he's thought about. And I think people underestimate how much, like, the guy spends all day talking to the most brilliant people in the world.
Yeah,
you real. Don't think he's picked up a thing or two in the thousands of hours of conversations he's had with people from all across the political spectrum, all across every single kind of field, at the top of their game, and athletes, scientists, philosophers, and that you're just going to sit there and be like, come in and school him?
Right. And he obviously does the research and has the numbers at his disposal.
Yeah. And he asks good questions. The one that he asked that went viral about kids getting vaccinated is a very logical question. He was really just saying, if you as a vaccinated person are not worried about getting COVID, and a child has less of a risk than you as a vaccinated person, why would parents be worried about their child getting it? It's a very reasonable question, and he could not answer it.
Yeah. The child probably has a better chance even than you do because you're 51 years old.
I think...
Does that...
I mean, they're both...
That seems reasonable, right?
Well, I think I don't...
And then Joe is so gracious. He saw that everything was going around and everybody was kind of dragging Gupta because he looked not great. And he said a similar thing, like, if you only watch these clips, this looks like it was a contentious debate, but I consider him a friend now that he left. And what does Gupta do? 24 hours later, he goes on fucking Don Lemon and throws Joe under the bus again.
Ivermectin is a drug that is commonly used as a horse dewormer. So it is not a lie, and it is not approved for COVID. Correct?
That's right. That's correct.
Jesus.
And lies about the lie that he got him to admit on Joe's show.
Was a lie. Yeah.
Was a lie.
Does it bother you that the news network you work for out and out lied, just outright lied about me taking horse dewormer?
They shouldn't have said that.
Why did they do that?
I don't know.
You didn't ask? You didn't think that was you're the medical guy over there.
I didn't ask. I should have asked before coming on your podcast.
But they did it with such glee.
No,
yes,
Joe.
they did. I watched.
Like, I just don't even understand how you can do that when then you have the proof that...
Because you're back in your home team.
Because they need it. It's like antibodies. Like that kind of the narrative is so determined to reinforce itself. It needs to. People who are watching CNN aren't listening to Joe Rogan generally. You're not going to spend 3 hours listening to the whole interview. You're just going to watch Sanjay talk about his experience there. And he's just lying again. And then, like, Keith Olbermann, who's completely lost his mind. He used to be a reasonable guy and, like, completely lost it. Was on his penthouse, like, yelling at Rogan about getting the vaccine and calling him a pussy or something. And saying he was afraid. And from, like, his mansion, there's like the view. I was like, that view is like, you've got to be like a billionaire to have that view.
They're waiting for more information. They're making a medical decision. Bullshit! Snowflakes and cowards and idiots.
Where are you standing? Talking down to people. It's crazy. Such an example of journalism.
Yeah.
Joe does a better job. Good for him for pushing back on that